Okay.
Yeah, I feel like.
Cool. Hey Brian,
Hey,
how's it going today?
it's going okay. Yeah.
How's your day been? What have you
Well, so Thursdays I have Russian in the morning, and then I'm working on a research project, so I was in the lab pretty much all day until I got back to my dorm. I saw some profiles, which was kind of interesting. Yeah.
What does interesting mean?
Well, like I knew they were coming,
Uh-huh.
and people have been like talking about how profiles are coming kind of all day. But I sat next to the panel that my freshmen. So yeah, because I'm on staff right now.
Right.
And my freshmen are like preparing the events and kind of making sure they're busy so we don't have to do anything. And I was like sitting on the panel, but I didn't answer any questions. And it was just really strange. It was profiles.
Did they ask like interesting or quirky questions at all?
Not really. You know, they asked just like questions. I don't know, like what's housing like, and what's food. I've heard about the Stanford Duck syndrome. Like, what is that? I've heard about the Stanford bubble, and what is that? I guess I felt like it just feels like so long ago. To be honest with you.
Okay.
Like I feel like there's such a gap between me and them. Which was fun.
Did you go to Admit weekend?
Yeah. I already knew I was gonna come here.
Oh, so did you commit before you even came there?
I don't remember. I mean, I was mentally committed, even if I didn't like press the button. But yeah, I came. I was in Eucalypto. Generally didn't like it.
Wait, Eucalypto is in Flomo, right?
Eucalypto's in Log.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. It was pretty empty, and like my Rojo, like Lily wasn't really there because he's the pitcher for the baseball team.
Oh.
I don't know. I already knew I was coming, so I didn't really participate in all of the events either. So it's like, I know I'm coming. I don't need to be convinced. So I just spent pretty much the whole weekend like walking around campus and like looking around and being like, this is where I'm gonna live. You know, like, I was mostly like looking for spots to go and hang out and like go read and stuff like that. So it was cool. I mean, there were other people I knew here, and it was okay, but it wasn't anything great.
Did you like hang out with a lot of people or?
Not really. I would say no.
Okay.
Like I had people that I was hanging out with when I had to like go to events and stuff, but like I said, most of the time I wasn't doing the Admit weekend thing. I was just here. I also came a day late with someone else from my school.
Oh, so the two of you go here then?
Yeah. So surprisingly, 4 of us got in my year.
Whoa.
Which was like a lot for my school.
Wait, that's awesome.
Two athletes and 2 for academics. Which was just like, I think no one since, I think one person, 2 people have gotten in since my year from my high school. One was an athlete the year after me, one was not, and then the non-athlete didn't come. So there were very few of us here.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's funny because out of the 4 of us from my year, 3 of us live in Cardinal right now.
Wow. Are they also on staff or?
Nope.
Okay.
One of them is a water polo player,
Uh-huh.
and she just like drew in because she had a low draw number. And then the other one was in Cardinal his freshman year and just loved it. So he came back to live there, and he's going to RA in Flomo next year too.
Oh.
He's Brandon. He's in our RA class. Brandon Powell.
Oh, Brandon. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wait, where are you guys from?
Southern California.
Wait, I feel like we might have had this conversation before. Where in SoCal?
Him and I are from Mission Viejo.
Okay.
And then I moved to Tustin right before I came here.
Okay. What high school did you go to?
Tesoro?
That sounds very familiar. Cause I'm from Riverside.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember Riverside is. Do you know where Tustin is? It's like
I've heard of the name, but
Santa Ana.
Oh.
Santa Ana
okay.
and Tustin kind of border each other right around the Irvine.
Okay.
Like the Tustin Marketplace, like the Irvine Spectrum.
Yeah.
Disneyland. 5 minutes from Disneyland is
Okay.
where I live now.
I go to like Garden Grove every weekend with my
Yeah.
parents.
Okay. So that's really close to where I go home to. Not really where I grew up.
Okay. So you grew up in Mission Viejo.
Yeah. Which is like 25 minutes south on the 5.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Oh, so when did you move?
Well, that's a complicated story.
Oh.
Probably one that would take more than 15 minutes. I moved from the house that I grew up in for most of my life. February-ish of my senior year in high school.
Oh wow.
And then I actually lived in 8 different places between that house and by the time I got to Stanford. So I didn't get to Tustin until like 2 weeks before I got to Stanford,
Mhm.
or before I came to Stanford. But in the meantime, I like lived in a whole bunch of different places. Yeah.
Am I allowed? Can I ask? Like,
Yeah. No. We just ran into some financial problems. Basically, it was like this unfortunate series of events where it was like we ran into financial problems. We'd always had financial problems, but like it finally hit the fan, you know.
yeah.
And then because of that, we moved into like a smaller house in the same area. But my dad couldn't really handle it, so he got sick. So then he had to stop working, which meant we couldn't afford that house, which meant like he eventually went off to like recover from being sick and lived with his mom, and like my mom went up with her mom, with my 2 little sisters. And then I stayed in the area, like finished up high school and lived with friends. Eventually moved up with my mom, so I'm counting all these places. Then moved down where my dad was for a little while, and then eventually we all moved into the house at Tustin, like right before I came here.
Wow.
And then there were like a couple other like things in between.
Did that make transitioning to Stanford a little difficult or challenging at all?
You know, in some ways, yes, because I felt like I got here and I definitely wasn't at my best, you know. It was like I got here and like I was having a hard time when I got here, and it was really hard to leave my family because they were having a hard time. But on like the flip side, I had lived in all those different places in such a short period of time. Like I'd been living out of a car, like with my suitcase. So like there was no packing to come to Stanford. Right? It was like I was very good at that point of just like moving and kind of being at home wherever. So coming here, at least like that part of the transition was really easy. Yeah.
Would you identify as like low income?
I don't know, honestly. I mean, definitely for like the last few years. I don't know where my dad is now,
Okay.
because he's doing better. He's not sick anymore, which is
Okay.
good. And he just recently moved up to like Sacramento
Oh.
for a new job. And I think he makes more money there. So I don't know if I'm like technically low income anymore. And before I definitely wasn't. Like that in between period. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. That's crazy.
It was good character building. Yeah. Although I wish like my family didn't have to go through it.
Mm-hmm.
Part of me is really glad that we did. It was just an incredible experience. Yeah.
Wow, that's a very like positive takeaway.
Yeah, it was. I think if you talk to other people in my family, they probably wouldn't say that. And maybe it's just the fact that I've been here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't live with it. You know, I live here,
Right.
and maybe that's allowed me to get. Having some distance from it, I've been able to think about it and kind of reflect, and then start that growing process where I think, if I go home to my mom and we talk about it, it's like she's not okay with that, So I think because she's still in it, it's really hard for her to do the whole reflecting and like, I'm gonna think about this in a positive way. How have I grown from this? She's 55 years old. She doesn't want to grow from things like that. She just doesn't want it to happen.
Yeah.
Which is fair. It's fair.
Wait, so you're like now your parents are still like having a difficult time, or?
So let's see. They were doing really, really well when I left winter break. The best they'd been
This
doing
past winter break?
this past winter break was like the best winter break I've had since coming to Stanford.
Oh.
Because like they were on the same couch together on New Year's, and like my dad fell asleep in my mom's lap, and it was just like, oh my god, I never thought this would happen. And like I took a picture when they both fell asleep.
That's cute.
Because before that, it was like it was really hard for them. The first time around, my mom it was really hard for her to trust my dad because there were a lot of financial things going on that he didn't tell us about. It's like, even though for the past few years we'd known there were difficulties, we had no idea how bad it was. So when things hit, and then he got sick, it was just like this flood for her. But then as the story goes, he got kind of better, but then my sophomore year fall, he got really bad, probably even worse than he was before. And after that, my mom was pretty much done with it. Yeah, so they were doing really well. And then my dad moved up north, not really because they were having a hard time. Because they weren't living together.
Okay.
But they were doing well, just like being around each other, and and he was starting to live with us more and more as time was going on. Then he moved up north just for money, really. It was a better job, and the job he was working at was not paying him well. So that was just like a choice he had. It wasn't much of a choice. Then it works out. It's nice having him up here. He's like an hour and a half away. Because he's kind of he's not in Sacramento, he's kind of
Is he
off to the side. Yeah. So he's only about an hour and a half, 2 hours away. So he comes down every once in a while,
Oh,
which is cool.
that's really nice.
Yeah. They haven't been able to visit since I've been here. So
Okay.
for him to be able to do that is he loves it. He gets to see me, he loves the campus. Yeah, so it all worked out.
Did they move up with you, when you first moved into Stanford? Did they all come up?
Yeah, they did. They all brought me up here. Kind of tucked me in, and then I've gone home pretty much over every break, at least for some portion of it. My dad was able to come up once. I always forget this, but my mom did come up once last year for a day. But I have two little sisters, and I really, really, really want them to come up. They're the big ones that I really want them to come see, what my life is like now that I know how to live here. Not when I was moving in.
Yeah.
That's their only memory of
How old are they?
14 and 15 now.
Oh.
They're still babies.
Aw.
They really are. And they still are. 14 and 15 are so little.
So they're sophomores and juniors? No, freshmen and sophomores in high school?
Yeah, they will be. They're in
Okay.
8th grade and freshman year now.
Okay.
And then going into freshman and sophomore, which is ridiculous.
Wow.
Yeah. Nicole, the younger one, just got back from like her Washington D.C. trip.
Wow.
Yeah, for like 8th grade spring break. And
That's so
stuff,
cool. Do you
yeah.
want them to go to Stanford?
I mean, of course I would love them to be here because I do really like the life that I've had here.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's been really conducive to like my development, but like they're gonna be fine wherever. Yeah, there's no pressure on them to get in here
Mm-hmm.
or any school even remotely like this one. I hope they go to a good school, but unless they do something spectacular, I doubt they'll get into one of these kind of higher level schools. So I try to encourage them just to find a place where they can be happy and like do what I've done here with me, which you can do anywhere.
Right.
You know, if that's your focus.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks for sharing.
Yeah. Thank you.
That was
Thank you
really
for,
cool.
for leading.
Yeah. Okay.